Hey, it's Thursday night. We're in Denver. It must be time for Overgrow The Radio. Welcome. It got cold outside. We had Romney and Obama in town yesterday. I think maybe that's why it's so goddamn cold out there. Pardon my French. Politicians make my skin crawl. They really do. I mean, I hate to say that, but 90% of them in my mind are crooks. They lie. You know, I spent a lot of time in my life in sales, and one of the things I took from that is being able to look at someone, and within 2 or 3 minutes, I can tell if you're honest or, I can tell if you're not. Which, that's what I surround myself with.
That's pretty easy to do when you're watching a debate. They were both dishonest.
That's our first guest piping in there. We've got Green Faith Ministries in tonight. We're going to learn a little bit about cannabis-based faith, and they've got an event coming up. Cannabis Kills Cancer down in the Springs, and we're going to be kind of a media sponsor, help them out and get the word out.
We appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. Bill Bartlett's also here. I didn't introduce Bill. How are you, sir?
I'm well today. How are you, Jake?
Good. I'm not good at introducing people. If there's anything you'd like to say about yourself that I miss, you just jump right in and talk about yourself.
Ah, right on. Very informal then.
Absolutely. So I'm going to get you guys in on this. I usually spend the first segment or so doing news. How many tens of millions of people watched the debate last night? I was one of them. I popped my popcorn, packed, countless bowls to get through it. That's the only way I can do that is just, one right. Actually, I rolled joints. I smoked like 3 big cones last night during the debate. Nobody else, just me.
Extra long, too, right?
Absolutely. A good friend of mine, I happened to buy some meds yesterday, and I was like, man, I can't find cones anywhere. I love those because now I don't have roaches. It's just picky, And she's like, hold on. So
I always
she
used
threw
to
me
say
a bunch.
roaches is the first thing that'll send you to jail because they're the ones you forget in the ashtray. The bag, it's there in your pocket. You know to hide it. You forget about that roach in the ashtray, and that one will make you break out in handcuffs every time.
Dude, you cross the state line where we're at here in Colorado. If you go west or east, wait, I'm backwards there, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You go to Kansas, you go to Utah, that's, yeah.
They're going to pull you over if they see the mountains on the license plate.
Yep.
Just because.
Been there, done that.
Yep.
Had a little incident over at Graham in Kansas.
That's why I tell my friends. I moved here from Joplin, Missouri, and I tell my friends. They say, "Well, come on back and spend a week or so for the summer." I said, I says, why would I go there and smoke your Mexican swag when I'm smoking the best grown cannabis in the world right here, and you can come here and enjoy it with me? Why would I do that and risk breaking out in handcuffs? Because as soon as I pull in there, of course I'm going to go there with my medicine. As soon as I pull in there and they see the mountains on that license plate, guess what?
Oh, they know. There's no question.
What are you bringing for your friends, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do. And you have the state, like in Oregon, where you can go as an out-of-stater and get your card without being a resident. So, I think a lot of it started from that. They target folks coming out with whatever.
Well, I believe that we ought to work with the other governors and recognize a red card for a New Mexico green card or whatever.
We are reciprocal with 5 states right now. I agree. I fight daily to end the federal war.
I believe that would force the federal government's hands as well when they see that, all these other states are working together, and I can see it working for the better. One thing I don't understand is why Hickenlooper has not joined the lawsuit to challenge the DEA as 2 other governors. Well, actually 3
He's
now.
the alcohol guy.
Bear with me a second.
Oh,
I'll tell you why he's not.
He's
we'll
got
just
it
skip
in the
ahead
news
a little
pile.
bit.
Sorry about that. Hey, man, the reason I blew you off on the debate, because it really isn't worth talking about. It's a fraud. It's a fraud. There's 2 other candidates that is viable.
He didn't even let me get into that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what I was going to say with that, man, I need to rant on this for a minute because we do endorse, and we've had him on our show, Gary Johnson.
Yep.
We play his spots through all of our shows. And you're right. It's not a fair debate because there are other candidates. Jill Stein, who was just in town. Absolutely. Everyone that is a candidate for president should be included. At very least, to exclude someone who is on all 50 ballots is not only atrocious, but it's, in my mind at least, unlawful.
You know,
I think it
our
spits in the
campaign-
face of those people that work their butt off getting enough signatures in all of the states, including that work
Well,
with
that's
you
what
guys in the Green Party.
That's what I was going to say. You know, with
it's
only
a
a half
slap in the
$500,000 bucks,
face.
the Green Party got enough electoral ballot access to take the White House if they got the media coverage, just like the Libertarians. They got all 50 states, the Libertarians did.
Yeah,
But
and
there's
it
more
took
money
Gary
for
Johnson
Libertarians.
suing 2 states to get
There's more money
included
for
because they
Libertarians
still wanted to
because
fight him.
Libertarians will take corporate money. You know, the Greens won't take corporate money, so we're very, very limited in what we can do on a national scale without real grassroots support. I mean, it's incredible.
Well, and we were talking before the show. I'm so much a procrastinator and trying to juggle so much right now in life that had I known a little ahead of time, I would have had Jill in while she was in town. And I've always been a big supporter of the Green Party as well. I think obviously our political system's flawed, but I think one of the biggest problems is the 2-party system,
Quote
if you
unquote.
will.
It's the corporate party system.
Yes, exactly.
I believe it locks us into an unnecessary box because there's more viable candidates that will not put that label on themselves. And they so in other words, they will not run. They are capable of changing things and doing different things, but they won't put that label on themselves. So why bother running? That's their attitude.
Well, and what I want to address is, you know, I love Governor Johnson. I agree with like 99.9% of what he's doing. I've had personal conversations with both him and his running mate. Great people. You know, you can just tell.
Judge Gray.
That being said, you know, I'm weighing my vote depending on where the poll percentages are and everything before the election. The 2, again, quote unquote, party candidates that debated last night, I'm not going to spend long on this. You're right, it is a waste, but I have to call out Romney. Now, I'm going to premise that by saying that if Gary Johnson would have gotten the nod, I would be voting Republican. But Romney, from the word go last night, to me anyway, was red-faced, seemed like he was on the attack, made a ton of empty promises, which we've heard time and time again from George Bush.
Looked like a drunk on a weekend bender, didn't he?
He did. He really
a drunk
did.
Irish on a weekend bender
you know,
with the
broken,
red.
yeah, the whole nine. You know, and he is an older guy, so granted, but he did. He really looked.
Deaf is a bitch.
You know, someone made a comment last night when I was watching it, how he looked like, you know, he was all pent up, and he did. He looked like he wanted to fight, and he had no plan for anything. He had all these solutions of how he wasn't going to give the tax cut and he was going to give the military all this money and do all these other things, but somehow he had no formula and no mathematics to make it work.
His formula is to cut the things that you and I have been paying.
Well, he wants
most
to
of
kill
our
Sesame
lives.
Street. I went off about that on
Yeah,
Facebook.
Can't kill Sesame Street. Come on.
Dude, I posted a
Big
picture
Bird,
and within like 4 hours it was up to like 50 likes or something.
On my
already.
Facebook page, I have a Mr. Rogers flipping. He's laughing and he's flipping them off. I want to post that on Romney's page going, go ahead, asshole.
He's probably pissed right now in his grave, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah,
it's
he
not
can't
a beautiful
believe it.
day in the neighborhood when you're trying to get rid of Sesame Street, Romney. Anyway, you know, I think as the election comes closer, if you are someone who's going to vote Republican or Democrat, or you're an independent who's undecided and leaning towards those 2 parties, what I think you really have to take into account, you know, I'm going to be the first to call out Obama too and say that he looked very unprepared. He stumbled
Timid.
more than I stumble on live radio. He didn't have all the answers he should have. But that being said, at least he could sit there and somewhat describe his plan for the future and what's been going on. He could articulate it a little better. You know, it's a shame
He's a
that
great
in our
teleprompter
society,
reader, isn't he?
it's a shame that in our society there's no teleprompters. I don't believe at the debate. Could be wrong there, but
there was. Yes, there was. Behind them.
I don't think they're allowed teleprompters.
I don't think they're allowed teleprompters.
They wouldn't know. They don't know the questions ahead of time.
Oh yeah, if you read, they already had been vetted on the questions the last 2 weeks. They knew what was going to be asked.
I don't know, Patrick.
They
Well,
prepared.
hang on, bro. We'll ask my
ahead.
girlfriend at the end of the show. She was there, so.
Well, I'm telling you, they
Nice,
were
good.
prepared.
yeah,
great.
yeah.
I'd like to
Any,
know.
I'm just saying they
anyway,
knew the questions and they were prepared for the questions.
Well,
that
it's
was
a-
well,
asked.
sure. They're all prepared, bro. It's their job. I
Right,
mean,
right. They were
Gary
prepared for a
Johnson
number of
would be,
questions, I'm sure.
Jill Stein would be, anybody would be. You can't hold that against them for being prepared. If I were,
No. I'm saying they knew the questions.
We'll slide this guy in.
They knew the questions beforehand so they could prepare for those answers.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure they had some general direction.
I think the moderators should have the questions because if you're running for a president, these are answers that, like you were saying, Romney don't have a plan. But if he had one, he'd know it verbatim. And if you ask him a question, like right now, I promise you, if you called Gary Johnson and you ask him any one of those questions that was asked, and he didn't have no time to prepare, but he'd give you a solid answer on his direction.
Well, and you're making my point for me, really, is right. Where I was going with that is he has no plan. That's why he had no answers. So I think just the basic, it's unfortunate in our society that he gets out there and he yells loud and he promises, and that's what people fall for. And what I'm asking, and we'll cut this off because we could go on and on.
Right.
But what I'm asking for voters is take that into account. Don't listen to the idiot up there yelling the loudest like me. Listen to the one who can actually sit there and sound somewhat intelligent. I mean, let's think. Who do you want running your country? An ape? Or someone who's a little more intelligent?
And I'm hearing from the reviews that there were 27 lies told by Romney, just direct lies. And the corporate media, what it's come down to is who looked better and acted better. When I feel like I'm a relatively intelligent person. You seem relatively intelligent. But sometimes you come across a person and you try to have a conversation and they just keep coming up with this stuff out of thin air. Like it's like, wow. And I can understand why a person would be a little taken off guard when you expect to have a conversation of substance with a person who's been consistent on at least being as inconsistent as Romney has been consistent on the issues that he's been inconsistently consistent on.
I like that definition of Romney. I love that. That's beautiful.
I think the man did the best he could. And, I'm a Green, so I don't want to vote for him, but my God.
He said, I love that. I love America's speech, and I want to make an America that Americans are proud of, and Americans are and all it basically was is bullshit that he kept rambling.
Exactly.
He didn't give no answers. And
they didn't address, that's the other thing I was going to say about the moderator. I think as I'm sitting there, if I'm Obama, and I'm sitting there listening to my guy lie over here, this guy I'm supposed to be debating, and the moderator doesn't call any of that stuff out. Like, shouldn't the moderator have some duty to call out a blatant lie? I think you said it at the beginning.
They're corporate candidates responsible with the corporate media, bro. And that's why they fought so hard to keep Gary Johnson and Jill Stein out, because they're not corporate whores.
Exactly.
And the moral would be we need the Green Party. We need Gary Johnson. I mean, that's really the moral here.
What I would like to tell people is we have a wonderful opportunity to throw the R&D to fuck out of our presidential election if we make the decision to not believe that crap about wasting a vote and vote for one of these alternative candidates. I'm not saying vote for Jill Stein. My vote is going for Gary Johnson. Call it a waste. I don't care. But Minnesota thought that Jesse Ventura didn't have a chance to win. But because he told him the truth, like Gary Johnson has done all along, for the past 3 years, this man has went on a tour bus all across this country to explain his plan for America before he announced running. But yet the corporate media whores would not even cover this man. Right I like to call them prostitutes because that's what they are.
Right on, bro. We got to cut away just real quick, and we're going to come back. We've got all three of you guys in here. I think this is going to be interesting. So we'll be back in just a second here on iCannabis Radio and Overgrow The Radio. Peace.
Friday, October 26th from 5:30 to 10 p.m., Green Faith Ministries presents Cannabis Kills Cancer, a film exhibition that changes everything, with special guests Dr. Bob Melamede from Cannabis Science, Todd McCormick, cannabis activist and author, and Kyle Marsh, director of Vitamin Cannabis. Hosted by Marmalade at Smoke Brush, 219 West Colorado Avenue, Suite 210, Colorado Springs, Colorado.
The Hemp Connoisseur is Colorado's premier guide to hemp culture. Our mission is to elevate the image of the medical cannabis and hemp industries to create widespread acceptance of the cannabis sativa plant. You can find the latest issue of the Hemp Connoisseur at more than 200 7-Elevens, your favorite favorite dispensary, MMJ doctor offices, and tattered covered bookstores. Do you consider yourself a cannabis connoisseur? Then come be a part of the Hemp Connoisseurs' first Cannabis Championship. Visit us at thcmad.com for info on how to sample the best medicine Colorado has to offer.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley Brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand grown by the Stanley Brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
Dixie Elixirs, the patient's choice for alternative medical marijuana treatment, brings you Dixie Botanicals all-natural topical therapy, including massage oil, pain relief salve, and our newest product, Dixie Botanicals Pain Relief Lotion. This all-natural lotion pairs beautifully with Dixie Botanicals bath salt for a deeply relaxing experience with no psychotropic effect. Like us on Facebook, Dixie Elixirs, or join us at www.dixieelixirs.com. Dixie Elixirs and Edibles, the nation's premier infused product manufacturers, brings you the newest in hemp CBD wellness products, Dixie X. Derived from CBD for medicinal hemp, this non-psychoactive cannabinoid provides the medicinal effects of cannabis, but without the high. Join the Dixie X revolution today at www.dixiex.com or like us on Facebook, Dixie X or Dixie Elixirs. Dixie Elixirs and Edibles, the patient's choice for alternative medical marijuana treatment. Dixie Elixirs infused sparkling beverages, Dixie Edibles, dewdrops, tonics, and Dixie Scripts extraordinarily concentrated cannabis extract capsules, along with Dixie Botanicals, all-natural topical therapy. All of these medicinal remedies are available at your local medical marijuana center. Like us on Facebook, Dixie Elixirs, or join us at www.dixieelixirs.com. Interested in the amazing benefits of CBD? Check out Dixie X Hemp CBD Wellness Products at www.dixiex.com.
Are we back? I think we're back on Overgrow The Radio. Welcome back. Sam's getting really good at this. Props to my new producer, Sam, again.
Yeah.
Sam moved out here from a flyover state, became a patient, went to college, and now he's a producer at iCannabis Radio. How fucking cool is that, dude? I don't know. We have fun here. Anyway, I've got Green Faith Ministries in front of me. Pretty much almost the whole group.
The real active group.
Pretty much.
You know? We're going to get with you guys in a second. I want to real quick talk about and apologize to people down in El Paso County because I haven't had a chance.
Yeah.
I wasn't down there and I haven't had a chance to watch the debate in full, but Makita was down there debating 64 against Vicente, and kudos to Brian for driving down. We were just talking how that drive sucks. It's boring, long. Not as long as this guy's, but somewhat. Anyway, Makita's argument, from what I saw in the debate, was that 64 shouldn't pass through a voter initiative. It shouldn't be voted on by the people. It should be through a legislative process because the people elect those legislators to represent them. Did anyone else scratch their head on that? Because what I hear there,
it's designed just like a legislative bill. Usually the people don't throw something out this complex.
What I hear him saying,
you take
is,
I-40 versus or A-40 versus A-64, man. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
A paragraph versus pages. It looks like legislators wrote it.
Absolutely, and it was quick and to the point and the baby step, and we'll get into that in a minute. But point being, his whole argument was it was an oxymoron. He basically said that the will of the people and the vote of the people should be superseded by the people we elect. Right. So rather than having a direct involvement of the
we got electoral college at the state level now, do we?
Well, that's because they want what they want is something like 1284. They want something that's more legislative, that curves all the edges and makes all the things rounded and puts everything in all these industrial, commercial, judicial, like everything. Yeah, everything's compartmentalized. It's not really from the people. So these kind of initiatives that come right from the people really scare the status quo, because sometimes they are not for the best. I mean, honestly, if you look at like the tax structure in California and how, they can't get anything done with taxes because the people, they've done all this weird stuff to empower the people in these ways, and people are like, and they're not mature enough to handle this stuff. That's why you have a legislative body.
No accountability.
But in this case, our legislative bodies have been stifling the truth. I mean, they're not willing to tackle it because they feel that public will is against this kind of thing. But
you talk about stifling the truth. I think that's a theme to our show.
That is a theme to our show.
Nice little segue there. I'm sorry.
Reverend Baker didn't hear it yet. Our spot that we did for you guys. I kind of introduced you guys. Do you guys want to jump in and tell us about the event? And then I've got questions about faith and cannabis and whatnot.
Right on. Well, the event is... Collectively, I believe we got tired, as like Bill said, we got tired of the lies. Got tired of watching people die needlessly. And knowing we've done the research, I have, I'm sure these folks have, done the research that the government knows about this shit since early 1970s.
Yep.
Excuse me? And then
they had studies, Thursday, correct? I mean, they had studies like the Schaefer report
Patents,
that they
all kinds
threw
of
out.
good stuff.
Okay, but just here recently, as of 2 Thursdays ago, what happened? That release from the San Francisco Medical School.
I've got it right here.
It cures
No, it didn't say cure. It says it destroys cancers. I love that. Yeah. Apoptosis is a motherfucker, isn't it?
I just couldn't believe it was posted as breaking news by everyone, man.
Well, yeah.
I know.
Well,
right?
that's the corporate whore media. That's them prostitutes for you.
They pulled out
they're like, holy shit, they weren't lying.
My first thought,
dirty ass hippies were right.
Same media that pulled out that. Well,
my first thought was, does Dr. Melamede have a lawsuit? Because
he should have patented it.
Well, I'm pretty sure apoptosis is already out there, and once you've coined a term and used it publicly, that's all you really technically need.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna go. Who did?
No, I mean you.
I'm going home and doing it
there
tonight.
You go. Yeah.
Tonight, I'm gonna go home and copyright cannabis cures cancer
or apoptosis.
Yeah, I mean, that
trademark
was just,
apoptosis for their butts.
Yeah, I pulled that up to chat with you guys.
That's like scientific definition almost.
No,
right?
it's a
made
description.
Well, it's pretty incredible. I think they're going to find that because that it's Darwinism at its best. Cannabis is part of the cycle that we go through to heal ourselves. We're supposed to be eating it on a regular basis and ingesting it, and for generations we've deprived ourselves of it.
Well, I kind of look at it as our bodies are biological, just like the trees that grows outside. So it's only natural that we have part of them in us. And the only place you find CBDs and cannabinoids other than your body and the cannabis plant is in your mama's milk. There's something to that, and I don't see where one plant that does all of these beautiful things that it does, besides getting you high, I think that's a wonderful side effect, actually. If you got to go through chemotherapy,
why not be happy?
If you got to go through the nasty, look at the side effects that pharmaceutical drugs will give you.
Absolutely.
If you want to do a little side effect study, I think I'll take
hairs
getting
never
high.
fell out from weed.
Imagine that, brother. Yeah. And you can't OD on it.
And what you're saying, man, there is science. We had Dr. Robert We had
Man.
Bob on a few weeks
Yeah.
ago. I don't call him doctor ever.
No, I don't either. He's my brother Bob.
Yeah, Bob's a great guy, and he was on, and of course, you have to listen to it 4 times before you understand what he's saying. But he broke it down, and my question was, I've what you just said for a long time. I have always ingested hemp and or cannabis, whether I used cannabis at the time or not.
Right.
Hemp is a part of my diet, and what his studies and his science proves now is we do need it. What happens is your receptors without hemp, your CBD receptors, I should back up, are throughout your body, is what he's proving.
Right.
Everything from your skin to your eyeballs, everything,
Yes.
your hair. So without that, these receptors are acting like they have the THC or the cannabinoid from hemp, that type of thing.
Right.
But they don't. So what's happening is it overstresses them and overworks every system in your body. It causes things like colds, headaches, flus.
Right. Well,
or
that's
makes
that
you more
study where
susceptible at least.
85% of our
believe it. I
exposed
believe it.
sicknesses are due to cannabinoid deficiencies.
Exactly.
I read that study, and the environmental exposure sicknesses, that's deep because that can go all the way to cancer or to the common cold and
Right.
flu. And to think that if you put these CBDs and cannabinoids in your diet, you're like Superman immune system.
Sure.
And it's that simple. And but yet you'll hear in here, I'm going to break into the faith in cannabis. The organized religious faith will try to convince you that this is such an evil devil thing. Really? And it does all of these things. The only plant on earth that does all of these things singularly, I mean, independently, don't need no help from anything else. But yet, it's evil?
Well, they don't believe in
Well,
alteration of perception. They don't believe in recreational use of anything. And the fact that it's funny, the same religious people who will say that it's okay to take a number of these horrible psychotropic
Right.
drugs. Thank you very much. In a pill, but
Give
they
me
will
a
balk
Xanax.
At, they will balk. Yeah, exactly.
Well, which
but they'll balk at
technically are
taking some
against
hemp oil or
religion.
something.
I mean, all pharmaceuticals are technically against religion because it's
Absolutely.
man-made stuff you're putting in.
That's right.
I think most of the religions are so bad against cannabis because it's so backed by science and they're so anti-science. That's why I'm glad Green
That's
Faith's like the only church that's
interesting
backed by
concept
science.
there. I hadn't looked at that direction.
Well,
All in
let me
Buddhist- and
let
the
me cut
Buddhist
you guys
religion,
off
if
for
you
a
consider them
second.
religion.
Right.
For everyone listening, before I moved here, I didn't know anything about cannabis faith. So real quick before we get all into, because we'll go on for hours, I'm sure we will. But tell us about Green Faith. I mean, what is Green Faith? Give us your little press release real
Brandon?
quick.
That's
Green
you,
Faith
Brandon.
Ministry would be community outreach for any and all people of any spirituality or religion. As far as who we ordain and let work out, we look to people that are already ordained or practicing in a faith before Green Faith. Like, we're not really a church. We're a outreach group for churches to educate.
We're the guys that
churches
roll up
on
our
cannabis.
sleeves. We're not scared. We're not sitting at the pew throwing money at problems. We're digging in and getting it done.
We're tackling the issue with the churches from within the churches by their own ministers and patrons.
Well, and you guys, I'm guessing I'm going to just ask as we go here, you teach folks about cannabis in the outreach.
That's all. Like the religion part, we leave
It's
to
kind
the
of like the
person in the
conversation
church.
that we were having prior. Is we educate them on the benefits of the plant, and we consider it. My faith considers it the tree of life, although Christianity doesn't have no monopoly on it because it's been written on for over 10,000 years.
And it's even actually in the, I've read some of these scriptures that we've got. If you look at some of the scholarly research, you'll find that cannabis was a part of the old sacred tinctures.
Cannabisen oil, exactly.
Yeah.
So
So
medicine. I mean, church
Well, and I've
and
even
medicine,
heard
like
things
the only
like-
place where they weren't separated.
I've also heard things like it was the burning bush, like that was a reference to cannabis.
I've heard that. I don't see that. But if that's what you see, more power to your faith.
Well, and I'm asking. I'm not a
Right,
religious
right,
guy.
right.
I
And
love theology. I actually
just-
grew up in the church. And,
It's more the holy smoke.
Or it's more along the lines of, as it says in Revelations 22:2, the tree of life able to heal all nations.
Yeah.
So it's whatever you see it as to do the most benefit. It's the tree of life. And whenever you hear something that's concerning life, then evil cannot have anything to do with it, because the only thing evil has control of is death. And like methamphetamine. What does it drive? What is the end result of a lot of methamphetamine use?
No teeth, and you're
dead,
skinnier than me,
eventually
and then you
dead.
pretty much die.
Right, right.
Energy.
Well, that can't happen with cannabis. It's been proven throughout history.
Right.
You're not going to die off of it.
I try to overdose. Well,
I try to overdose every time I get into the bong session. So, hey,
like I was referencing earlier,
Just
to
doing
get
research.
through a presidential debate. I try to overdose when I have to sit through something
Absolutely.
like that. Never works, man. It
Just
never
choke
ever
me.
works.
That's like Lewis Black. Lewis Black, I was listening to him on the way up here, and he said, he went to congressional. He was the main headline entertainment to a congressional party where all the congressmen and senators were there, and Dick Cheney was there, and he said. He come out and he said he looked down and Dick Cheney was laughing and he thought, just fucking kill me. He thought, just fucking kill me now. He said, I got the devil himself laughing at my jokes. He said, just kill me now. But yeah, that to me, well, with my background, I have a degree in political science, and to me, it just bores me nowadays because it's more trash politics than it is issue politics. We'd be shocked to have a candidate come out and stick nothing to the issues and don't even acknowledge the trash talking. We would be shocked. The media whores probably wouldn't cover them like they're not covering Jill Stein or, Gary Johnson.
Well, and to digress, something I didn't ask earlier, or point out rather, is my question today has been, how did Ross Perot get into that mix a few years back?
Money.
If with all of the attention with at least Gary Johnson,
see, the rules is
and
you got to raise
Ron
it.
Paul and then Jill
the
Stein.
rules that the committee sets up, the debate committee, is you got to raise X amount of money. Gary Johnson hasn't reached that threshold yet. That's why he's not getting.
There's some kind of bullshit poll at
polling,
15% or something
you
like
got
that.
to poll in, and the only way you're polling
it,
that much is by bringing in that money.
That was something I was
Like
going to
Ron
mention
Paul's
earlier.
been only one of the ones to get that high up, and what sucks is he runs Republican, so he can never bring the third party.
That's
to it
what
ever.
I'm trying to tell those Ron Paul supporters.
He
Take
can
a
never
really,
bring a
really
third
close look
party
at Gary
to
Johnson. We have a chance to change the world the way the way
team
the whole
up.
world looks out at politics, looks at this country at politics, because they only see the two-party system as well, and we have a chance. I'm telling you, don't waste your vote. Vote for Gary Johnson.
Well, and
Or vote for Jill
Gary,
Stein.
I know yesterday.
Let's not split
I
the vote.
believe yesterday they were deciding a lawsuit. Gary Johnson's campaign actually sued.
Two states
Commission.
To be in the debate. So
Yep.
I'm not sure what happened with that.
I don't know if he's gotten an answer back on that yet.
Yeah, I thought they were supposed to decide yesterday, but I couldn't find anything.
As the
yesterday.
Supreme Court goes into session next year, it's just been reported that they're going to have to wear NASCAR uniforms. So we know who's bought and paid for them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I saw that post on Facebook, one of those viral videos. So we got to cut away again real quick. We only went like 6 minutes over, so we'll be cool. We're going to take another commercial break here. Stick around. We'll get political probably again when we get back.
Interested in the amazing benefits of CBD? Check out Dixie X Hemp CBD Wellness Products at www.dixiex.com. Dixie Elixirs and Edibles, the patient's choice for alternative medical marijuana treatment. Dixie Elixirs infuse sparkling beverages, Dixie Edibles, dewdrops, tonics, and Dixie Scripts extraordinarily concentrated cannabis extract capsules, along with Dixie Botanicals, all natural topical therapy. All of these medicinal remedies are available at your local medical marijuana center. Like us on Facebook, Dixie Elixirs, or join us at www.dixieelixirs.com. Dixie Elixirs, the patient's choice for alternative medical marijuana treatment, brings you Dixie Botanicals all-natural topical therapy, including massage oil, pain relief salve, and our newest product, Dixie Botanicals Pain Relief Lotion. This all-natural lotion pairs beautifully with Dixie Botanicals bath salt for a deeply relaxing experience with no psychotropic effect. Like us on Facebook, Dixie Elixirs, or join us at www.dixieelixirs.com. DixieElixirsandEdibles.com. Dixie Elixirs and Edibles, the nation's premier infused product manufacturer, brings you the newest in hemp CBD wellness products, Dixie X. Derived from CBD for medicinal hemp, this non-psychoactive cannabinoid provides the medicinal effects of cannabis, but without the high. Join the Dixie X revolution today at www.dixiex.com or like us on Facebook, Dixie X or Dixie Elixirs.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Dispensary in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
The Hemp Connoisseur is Colorado's premier guide to hemp culture. Our mission is to elevate the image of the medical cannabis and hemp industries to create widespread acceptance of the cannabis sativa plant. You can find the latest issue of the Hemp Connoisseur at more than 200 7-Elevens, your favorite dispensary, MMJ doctor offices, and tattered covered bookstores. Do you consider yourself a cannabis connoisseur? Then come be a part of the Hemp Connoisseur's first cannabis championship. Visit us at thcmag.com for info on how to sample the best medicine Colorado has to offer.
Friday, October 26th from 5:30 to 10 p.m. Green Faith Ministries presents Cannabis Kills Cancer, a film exhibition that changes everything, with special guests Dr. Bob Melamede from Cannabis Science, Todd McCormick, cannabis activist and author, and Kyle Marsh, director of Vitamin Cannabis. Hosted by Marmalade at Smokebrush, 219 West Colorado Avenue, Suite 210, Colorado Springs, Colorado.
As promised, we're back, and we're going to talk more religion and cannabis. You know, a lot of people, like, growing up in Illinois and living in places like Kentucky and Florida and
Wyoming.
Illinois. And
conservative,
Wyoming.
Christian, organized, yeah.
A lot of people, if you put those two
Christian,
words together, might look down on you. You know, what I want to bring back these guys back in with is one of the first things that interested me with theology when I really started looking into it as an adult were all the verses in the Bible that seem to relate to cannabis. The one in Genesis that talks about, you know, all the seed-bearing plants and herbs to use, to quote Cypress Hill.
Right. Well, I mean, the whole chapter, too, they just quote that one, verse 29 and through, like, 31. But it actually starts off with the whole, you know, he made everything. And then what was green was good, grass was good, herbs were good. Like, that's the first rule of the Bible. And most all other holy texts have the exact same thing. Whatever the higher power is in it, he created whatever you're living on, and he made it. And
you know, it's very basic, but it as a backpacker, I mean, when you learn your edibles, by rule of thumb, most things that are plain green are good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You can't dye it.
Right.
It's the different flowers that you watch.
The bright stuff, man. Nature tries to tell you what not to eat.
Absolutely. So I mean, just to give folks an idea, where are other references that you see, and anyone's free to jump in on this, in the Bible?
I see one that usually just smacks me in the face when you look at how organized religion will vilify this plant. If you go to Isaiah 5:20, It says, woe unto them that turn evil into good into evil, bitter into sweet, and sweet into bitter. Light into darkness, darkness into light. And that's exactly what's going on from 90% of the pulpits in organized religion today. You find out what the Catholics done. You find what the Catholics done. You've seen all these televangelists getting caught with their hand or their pecker in somewhere. One thing I can tell you is the Tree of Life followers of Green Faith Ministries, we're not fucking people's kids, and we're not browbeating them into hell. We're showing them the love of Christ or the love of faith, no matter what their faith is. I'm not going to say it's the love of Christ, but it's just the love of faith. It's being loved.
I mean, what you're saying to me, the way I perceive that, man, is, and this is my view, it's the corporate ties to the church, to the Vatican. The Vatican is its own city. I mean, it has its own...
That's a dangerous thought, isn't it?
Well, it has its own obelisk for a reason, just like D.C.
It's their own
If you look
country.
around, there's 4 or 5, places in the world.
It's a political sanctuary almost.
Exactly.
Isn't it nice that we have one at DIA?
So to be able... Yeah, exactly. With the underground tunnels where Queen Elizabeth
I don't know nothing about them, man. I don't know.
Yes, I don't have my tinfoil hat, damn it. No, there is some weird shit that goes on at DIA. Right? That's a whole other show.
You mentioned the obelisk, and I just thought that was kind of odd. Out in the middle of an airport, they got this obelisk, and I'm like, really, folks?
Well, there's always construction 24/7 at DIA.
Well, have you seen the runway layouts?
They're working on the.
Have you seen the? That's Fourth Reich stuff.
The thing of it is all the construction that goes on out there as I'm going to fly in and out is in these big open fields. You see these semis with construction shit driving through, and you're like, where are you going? And then they just kind of disappear. So maybe there is some. I don't know. If I could get access, I'd go out there and poke around.
I ain't copping to nothing. You might not come back.
But anyway, I got way off track there. Yeah. I mean, for folks, I guess I got a question. If, as I mentioned coming back in, if I'm someone who's set in their ways and who's been taught my whole life, cannabis and alcohol are the demon, and I'm a religious person, and there's no way that the Bible could include this plant. It's not talking about cannabis. If you run into those folks on the road, you guys are a lot like me. I like to, as I walk down the road, if someone makes a comment and they're not educated, if a doctor tells me cannabis is bad, I'm going to lecture him for 10 minutes. Patrick saw that, actually.
Yeah, well, it was either going to be you or me, but
he was there for one of those.
Yeah, we kind of cornered him anyways.
My question to you guys is, what's your first, inclination to those folks? I mean, I'm sure you don't jump down their throat, which I don't either, but how do you address
to them from 129 of every seed-bearing herb. I explained to him the multi-facets of the plant, what it does, how it helps, how we are a part of the plant through the cannabinoids and biologically, and where we get that initial shot of cannabinoids from. That usually shocks most folks. And it ain't about religion, but when you equate that in there about it being the tree of life and how it needs to be in our body and where we first get it, and then they start looking and going, wow. And then you talk about the cannabosin vessels that have been found recently over there that have found traces of the cannabis oil in them, and that was right back at the time.
I just got to say,
Christ.
There are times when people, you can give them all the facts you want, and I've got family that are like this. Mm-hmm. What it comes down to is they don't want people getting high. It is not cool to feel good. We come from
Dixie
a Puritan
X
society
is our sponsor. You can't get high off of
you're not allowed to do any of this stuff, but you can buy it because we're a capitalist society. So shame on you for wanting the things that make you feel good, and if we think you like it enough, we'll throw you in jail for it too, so we can...
They say church is the only place you're supposed to get high and feel good.
From prayer,
and thus,
which does,
and thus Green Faith Ministry.
And let's address that for a second.
Cannabis is part of church.
I also like to say that everyone has a vice. Yeah. If I'm all for recreational use, man. If you want to get high, get high. I personally,
cigarettes, coffee.
I want to do it.
Religion.
More in depth.
I mean, what I see, I have people in my family who I absolutely see religion as their vice.
Even the religious people that abstain from everything, they still are touching some of. I mean,
that's it. Prayer and meditation does get you high. Yeah. If you are in the moment, if you are in
hypnosis, Video games.
The thing that I would like to
Video games get you high
investigate-
too. That's very true. The endorphins from
Absolutely.
playing video games.
The thing I would like to investigate is what makes us as a society have to go to 5 o'clock, go get a drink, or damn, this day was so stressful. I've got to go do something. I've got to take his Xanax, or what is so wrong with this life that we have to get out of our head or out of our brain to feel good? Think about that. I mean, I
have chronic severe pain, so I stay pretty medicated.
So do I. I mean, but I'm just saying, what drives
I agree.
people to do that? I mean, what is it? Is there a buzz going on in the center of the earth?
Well, and I don't tell my background a lot because I do like
for
to
higher consciousness, man.
Exactly.
Very well could be,
whether it's a religious consciousness or just a spiritual or a self-consciousness. You know, I try to stay somewhat private, but a lot of people know that I like to hike, and I spent a lot of my life backpacking. And a lot of people don't get to do that. And, you know, I ran away from everything. I went out in the middle of nowhere. I lived off the land and my backpack, and I did my thing for a few years. And, you know, I was lucky enough in that to really find a lot of inner peace. Mm-hmm. And I think the only way in our society, I think we're programmed that we need that vice, that we have to have something. Exactly. And really the only way to overcome that is to step out of that stereotype, look at yourself as a whole person, and move forward as that person to where you want to go. If religion is your, you know, destiny and that's your premise, you know, and me, I'm more a spiritual, you know, I hug my trees, I kiss my dirt type guy. That's me. But we all have a path and a journey through life. And
exactly.
If you're going 9 to 5 and sitting in a cubicle and looking at these shitty fluorescent lights all day, you don't know that purpose in life, and you'll never be able to achieve that peace that you need. And I don't want to say you need that vice, but that vice is awfully damn handy when you have a mundane day.
Well, you know, I have to tell you, man, is I always look back at what Bob Marley said: if you free your mind, you're truly free. You know, no matter what cubicle.
So did a group in the '80s, like a disco group. If you free your mind, the rest will follow.
But.
I'm drawing a blank.
Sister Sledge or something like that.
Yeah.
But you know, there are a lot of people who actually enjoy the cubicle life. They find a lot of freedom in that, a security,
safety
for their family, and it allows them that, you know, not every person who recreationally uses
off of that life.
Yes, well, I was gonna say that earlier. People get high doing math and physics and all kinds of cool shit. But the cool thing is that a lot of people choose to get high not because they're running from something or they've got a kind of problem, because they're enjoying themselves.
Right.
They're just enjoying themselves. Why are we throwing people in jail? And that's the other thing. Their cubicle life was one thing, but if you're in the inner city, you may not have the opportunity to go on a hike ever. Like your hike is the quarter mile at the creepy city park, where if you go at the wrong time of day, you got to like dodge the crack dealer.
Or to walk through the mall
and the thing with that is my adult life when I'm not hiking, I've spent that mic's
you can.
I've spent all my
life
life
on that radio. You can't share. You
Next
can't
thing you
swear,
know, I'm a
brother.
pirate over here.
I guess that's absolutely a huge hurdle when you do live like in the inner city. My adult life have pretty much lived in cities. I'm back in a smaller town now, if you will, down south. But, you know, I would always find a sanctuary no matter where I was, whether it was a park.
I lived in a backpack in San Fran and Austin, man. I'm like, honestly,
There's
enjoy
always,
backpacking
There's
in the
always
city
places
and
you can
people
go
watching,
in the urban
man.
area to get away. I do.
City
you know,
bench work.
just
it's much harder.
5 miles outside
Better
of a
than
city,
TV.
it may take you 20 minutes to get that 5 miles outside of a city, but you can find it. Like Dallas. Dallas has got a hell of a lot of sprawl.
Or a real rich person's backyard. That's usually
there you go. Yeah, that gives you lots of space.
They got
Who knows? They probably got some empty rooms. You could just hang out in there for a couple of days.
That's the way we roll. I had a buddy of mine. He's in town. I missed him yesterday. I felt horrible. Julio, he'd give him a quick shout out. He's a backpacker friend. He flies in. He's like, man, where could I pitch a tent? He's like, it's kind of cold.
Not in Denver anymore.
Like, and I'm looking on the map.
There's still good spots by Coors Field, man.
Yeah, he was up by Boulder, so I'm like looking on the map. Where's the closest, forest you can just walk across?
Right across from the practice field for CU, man.
Yeah.
Buffs. I lived on the freaking river there for
Well, I sent
2
him down
summers.
baseline. It looked like there was...
all along that river,
yeah.
man. There's nice little coves and houses.
I think he's in Netherland now, or somewhere better.
That whole town's a backpack, man.
So we're gonna. I think we got I don't know, 4, 5, 6 minutes here.
All right. I'll sum up the Bible real quick.
Please do.
All right. Is cannabis part of the Bible and a holy thing? I'm gonna IRAC it for court in case I ever have to go to court and prove the religion. It's issue, rule, analysis, conclusion. Rule, first book and main chapter, Genesis 1, pretty much tells you all green things and all grass and all herbs are good, all seed-bearing things, yada, 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 on and on. And the analysis, like Patrick already quoted, Isaiah 5:20. You can look at the whole chapter, but it pretty much just says, shame on those that say what's good is bad and what's bad is good. And then you get to the end, the conclusion, Revelations. It's the tree of life and the healing of the nations. Like, that's the whole book in 3 little chapters. I don't know, 4 pages.
And
4 pages.
That by no means is in any way, picking and choosing. But that explains it the most distinctly.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't like in law.
We can go chapter for chapter, verse by verse, if they would really like to, because that's my background. Is this book? I've studied at the Presbyterian. I am a theology major when I was going to the Presbyterian. So that is my book, but I've always questioned those questions about the tree of life,
the problem
and the benefits of the
little
plants.
selected quotes. It seems like every branch or church can quote whatever and spin the Bible their way. It's
Right.
like in law, they tell you take the whole chapter. Read
Well,
the chapter
and we
context.
didn't even get into it, dude. I want to, we talked briefly, get you guys in a
I'd
little
say
more
there's
for religious
100,
stuff.
probably 100.
You should come in more often
quotes.
for religious stuff.
All right.
You need to be
Well,
reminded
like
of
I
the
said,
herb
I
and
would
the
love to
spiritual
do.
root,
I would
man.
love to do a segment.
Well, yeah,
Do a
what I
15 or
was
20
saying
minute segment.
like a reading,
is,
literally,
there's
start, work through a book and do all the books.
what
man.
people don't realize is the Bible is a selection of hundreds
it's
of
online,
books.
quick search and all, man. BibleGateway.com, man. You can search them all at once.
The Bible, to expand on the Bible into the hundreds of books who weren't included in the
But
Bible.
understand this though, the Bible has no monopoly on the tree of life. It's been written about. It's got 5,000 years of Chinese medical history alone.
It's
got
Torah.
10,000 years of
that.
religious and
I'm scared,
faith.
though. I don't wanna
Jesus'
get
story isn't
detained
even that all that
indefinitely.
all that
2,000.
original when you get right down
Well,
to it.
it's 2,000 years old, as supposedly this book is. So
Cannabis outdated by what, 3,000 years?
7,000 or better. I mean, because 10,000 years ago, the shamans and the, those mystics and stuff were writing about it in their writings. So, and they found evidence far back.
I'm sure
like
they
I
could
said,
carve and date
5,000
by
years.
the DNA of plants. man.
5,000 years of Chinese medical history alone. And then here just recently, the last 85 whatever years in the United States, it's become this evil thing. It's like, wait a minute, you're talking about
Till the
something
last
evil that can
decade.
save people's lives?
That's like the new
That don't
Civil
sound too
War.
evil to me.
So I'm going to open a can of worms because we've got like 2 minutes left, and we'll rant for like 2 or 3 more minutes. What's Green Faith feel about 64?
Oh boy.
Oh, I say bring it on, man. Any new law that's pro whatever, I'm like, I'll use that as a basis for a lawsuit, man.
I am
Put
tied,
shitty shit out there.
I am tied in.
I'll use
to
it
the
for
fact
good
that
shit.
I am tied into the fact that I have been an activist for the legalization of this plant. Now, do not get me confused. I do not believe this is the definition of legalization.
Oh, by no means.
But-
you get sued for saying it by me.
Let's explain my position of this. There's no legislation that's going to satisfy everybody. I'm sure as we speak right here that A20 had its fucking detractors when everybody thought it was a great idea. They were still people in the community running around like their heads on fire going, fuck no, fuck no,
Well, it
fuck
came
no.
out. It came out short
But-
too, man. And you look what happened to a nice little short bill.
But
Well,
then,
I'll jump in real quick and say we touched on it earlier. There's going to be like a 1284 to follow. And it's up to
Right.
people like me who sit on the CSMCC board.
The biggest
to be
no to
part of
me
that
is
Screw that,
inviting
man.
them.
Get
Go
in
take
there
your
and
local
put our-
council, man.
Hey,
Go
man.
take
My
your
whole point,
local
you know,
council
Stickman.
in your
Whatever
district.
happens with A64, it's important that it doesn't split this community.
Amen.
Our cannabis
Absolutely.
community has to stick together because the
Absolutely.
industry
Because
is always
come November
together.
6th, we all still going to live here.
Well, what I like to say,
Every other bill, we're going to need all the support, man. That's just the way it works.
And I've been on many rants at this point about it.
And
I've
to
been
those that are on the
threatened
other
with
side of
lawsuits
this,
and all kinds of fun stuff.
Dude, I'll
Please.
say
What-
right now, the language sucks. Mason and their
Yes.
tactics suck, but we've already discussed that back in January in the debates. There's no point to keep dragging it out, man.
It's not perfect.
Patrick,
It's
we
not
gotta
gonna
wrap
be.
it up. But Patrick
ahead.
hit it on the
They
head.
already got elected.
In saying
They got on the ballot.
it's a baby step, guys. It's not something, as I've repeating myself from previous episodes. It's never going to be perfect. No law is perfect. Jaywalking
it'll only
laws aren't
protect two of
perfect.
my friends, but I'll vote
Right.
for it just for
If
them
it's
two
gonna
friends,
get those,
man.
exactly, that's a good point. It's a step forward.
I know a lot of people,
You know,
but they're already
I mean,
patient.
and
So.
I'm not angry at those that's gonna vote no, because in the
Hey, it's
beginning,
America.
when I
I'm
read
not-
the 90, when I read the DUID part of it and everything, I was no. I was firmly no. But the more I look into it, and the more when I listen to the gentleman that wrote it and listen to the motives behind the reasons there's big holes in it, basically he explained to us that the reason there's big holes in it is we're inviting the federal fight of states' rights, federal rights.
Well, there's a lot
And
of
this is
reasons
a step
my
in that
mind.
direction.
It's a showdown, man. If they legalize it, dude, it's going to be the
Well,
showdown.
Everybody's worried
and-
about, they're going to come after the dispensary. No, they're going to come after those legal
They're gonna
shops that's just
after the
peddling it
state.
to
They'll
first.
and they have to come after the state and the attorney general for signing it off, and
Well,
the governor for signing the bill off. They
And
can't
just
come
like
after the people.
alcohol prohibition, it's state by state. It's knocking down
Every
the
bill,
dominoes.
You know
every
what?
bill
Back
the
then,
Attorney
it was the
General
same
signs
thing,
it off
brother.
as
It was a step in that
constitutional and
direction. And
legal,
guess
man.
what? Colorado was the first state that
Well,
made
remember,
that decision back then as
when
well.
we did, the climate was different. We had a lot friendlier cannabis climate, and that's what our show is about. It's creating a friendlier climate for cannabis.
right.
Well, let
so
me-
we can get
and
shit
unite
passed.
us.
Let
in
me
this-
end
in the
with
state.
that, dude. The whole pillar of my existence, and you guys too, we've talked about this, Patrick. When I founded Overgrow, we got to be united because the federal government especially can look at hundreds of small groups
Hey, they can order
and
the
ignore the
opposition
shit out
to
of
be
us.
united.
When all
too,
of us
man.
small groups stand together and work together, that's when we move forward.
That's
if we
how
don't do
the
that, we're not
revolution
gonna
One
was
thing
won,
together
man.
we can
Hey,
affect
guys.
change.
Real quick before we go, tell us your email and/or website, whatever you want to shout out.
It's Colorado or cannabisrevivalcolorado.com or cannabisrevivalcolorado@gmail.com.
Right on, guys.
And
I see a lot of
greenfaithministry.com.
I see some segments in the future. We got a lot to talk about. Thank you guys all for
lot of
being
fun.
on.
Thank you.
I'm going to
man.
invite you back after our next segment. If you want to hang out, you're welcome to come back in. We're going to
Absolutely.
promote a protest going on this weekend, the We
Right
Are
on.
Women. So
Oh,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
gonna
Thanks
have a,
again.
Gary Swing is
I
going to be
support
there
women.
from
Nice.
the
With
Greens.
both
He's
hands.
gonna
we're
speak
we're
there.
having a table too.
Hello,
I'm
sis,
pulling dual
Chris.
duty.
Nice,
So,
awesome.
Yeah, so we'll be back in just a few minutes here. I got to go get my back right. Stay with us. Peace.
Hemp Connoisseur, Colorado's premier guide to hemp culture, is throwing a party for the ages. That's tomorrow, Friday, October 5th at Castleman's Bar and Venue. We're throwing the Cirque de Cannabis Party, featuring great local bands, Dragon Deer, Demon Funkies, Varlet, and Cobra Conda, and of course, announcements of the winners of the Hemp Connoisseur Championship. If you want to know who has the best medicine that Colorado has to offer, you got to join us for the Cirque de Cannabis event this Friday, October 5th at Castleman's. Doors open at 7 o'clock. Party is 18 and up and no red card required. Can't wait to see you there.
We're back. That was a nice little break that we took here on Overgrow The Radio.
Yeah, we don't do that at the Hemp Connoisseur show.
I know, man. You guys are all professional. My next guest, Jason, he gives me a hard time. He keeps me in line. I think that's why I like him. And we do try to stay somewhat professional here at Overgrow. My back pain goes away, and then I'm able to focus again.
Nice.
Yeah, so speaking of focus, dude, Sam, my new producer, I think he did a dab or two, maybe too many at break. So, I mean,
I saw him back there. It was ridiculous.
Well, we got to get him on camera because Sam's shy, and Sam's never on camera, so he's got to spin his camera around so he's on camera. And our guest, I stuttered there, Jason brought in these great hemp drinks, and I've been drinking coffee all night, so I'm taking mine home. But Sam was like falling asleep in his chair, so I'm going to make him like not chug his, but you got to drink some. And then like we're going to check back with you here in like 15, 20 minutes and see if, does hemp, is it like spinach, man? Does the green container, does the spinach work?
Hey, wait. You got to pop that thing close to a microphone so you get the psh. effect, you know?
Yeah, here, let me open it for you. Is it gonna psh all over me?
Hopefully right on your face. There you
You like
nice. See?
I opened a beer or two as a younger guy.
on the Hemp Connoisseur show earlier today, which we have every Thursday from 4 to 5, we did a segment on how hemp helps you and the medicinal benefits of the hemp seed, and that is actually has hemp seed oil in it.
Well, and for those who could sort out the crazy rant that was the last hour, we addressed that, and with Dr. Melamede on the show a few weeks ago, we addressed it where your body needs hemp.
Mm-hmm.
I actually preached that to you earlier in passing.
Yeah, I vaguely remember.
So tell us about this show. You guys make radio now. I mean, kudos, you support Overgrow. We love you.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to keep your segment around. We're going to convert it a little bit, which we're going to get into in a minute. But you started off with the THC show, so give us a plug.
So every Thursday from 4 to 5, we have the THC radio show, the Hemp Connoisseur Radio, and on that show we go over just different states and what they have going on with their rules, regulations. You know, what states are coming down the pipeline. We are going to be doing. We also go over hemp items. So here in the next couple weeks, we're going over the difference between ethanol and methanol that's made out of the hemp plant.
That's awesome. I pulled up to the gas pump the other day up here, and I saw the natural gas pump,
Mm-hmm.
which is amazing. It was the first one I'd actually noticed.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not very observant. But I dream of a day when we're using biofuel in all the pumps, and we don't even have to use the natural gas.
Well, you can look this information up on the internet. But if 1 gallon of fuel that's derived from the hemp plant would cost $1.37 a gallon. So imagine that right now. I mean, break out your calculators. It's pretty damn easy math. I mean, you're saving over $2 a gallon right now, and
I'm flashing back to like my senior year of high school right here, dude. I mean, 20 years literally is probably the last time we've seen that.
Yep, I guess Cobra Condon was today, and the guy was like, man, that was like when it was 98 cents the last time I remember anything like that when he was in high school. So
yeah, we owned a gas station, so I helped throughout my 20s here and there, and yeah, early 20s maybe $1.30. But yeah, I mean, it broke $1 and it never looked back.
Yeah, I know that this is on our show in the afternoon we do some politics, and today we actually did it on the debate last night. But imagine if you save that $2 a gallon, what you could do with that. Imagine if you save that up through the year. Is that your Christmas paid for? I just say Christmas because that's definitely my favorite holiday out of the year. You know, I mean,
you like candy
everything.
canes and snowmen?
I love candy canes, love snowmen, but
do you go Christmas caroling?
Heck, well, yeah, with this voice, and I'll sing here in a little. No, I won't.
Please do.
Yeah. No, but I love decorating my house. I love the energy that is creative, and I have two kids, 6 and 13, and the energy around what happens with them, with the music and them excited, and the tree and just the whole atmosphere behind it is just fantastic. You know,
I concur. I have a daughter, and I mentioned before we were talking faith, and I'm not really a religious guy, so that side of it for me, it's not really there anymore as it was as a younger person. But still, with my daughter, it's absolutely the whole feel around that holiday. Yeah,
and I probably could have went with these guys because I definitely have faith. So. But I wasn't invited for that conversation, Stickman. So.
Well, you were. You're always welcome here on Overgrow. Now you're going to make me feel bad. So, Sam, are you waking up any over there yet?
I absolutely.
You are.
I can't hear. I can't hear him though.
Yeah, where's your mic, Sam?
Dude, come on, Sam.
Sam, he's showing his new producerhood, isn't he? He didn't even spin a mic around for himself. We're trying to highlight him and get him on the radio, and he's just over here goofing off.
I think he's scared.
I'm not scared.
That's the sound of Sam.
Yeah, Sam's not. He's a little soft-spoken. So, how's it taste, brother?
Well, it tastes just like an energy drink, like Nas or Monster. It has that zing. It's sweet. It doesn't. I don't taste any cannabis. I don't taste any hemp. Like I'll eat an edible and I'll taste heavy cannabis. I don't
Well,
use any cannabis.
the edibles are made out of marijuana. That's made out of hemp,
And to
so
clarify,
there's no THC and no CBDs in it. So
Sam's not getting higher. He just always sounds like that.
maybe he needs to go take a nap.
Right. Sam's just a very calm person. Sometimes I admire that. Actually, I always admire that in you. So you guys have an event. Let's just skip ahead a little bit. Tomorrow. And I'm going to give myself a shameless plug. Myself and Georgia from Monday night will be out there. And then I believe we're going to bring Jenny Cush back, right? So she's going to jump in for Georgia for the second half, and
Cool.
her and I are going to finish it out.
Nice.
So yeah, man, tell us about what's going on out at Castleman's.
Well, we over the past few months we have put together the Hemp Connoisseur Championship, and this was actually not our idea to do. However, we were in a position to go ahead and organize it, spend the time to do it. But after the High Times Cannabis Cup, a lot of people came to us really ranting and raving, saying, "Look, the people that paid for this are the people that won." And although I don't believe that that's actually what happened. It's the second year in a row that it's happened. So a lot of people were like, man, I'm not going to be doing this anymore. THC, can you please come up with an event that is that can be validated? I mean, first of all, and so we did. We sat down actually with Warren Edson and ran a couple things by him. And what we came up with,
great guy, by the way.
Yeah, he's all right. But so we ran a few ideas past him, and at the end of the day, we came up with basically it's a competition based on three areas. The first is testing, and we use Can Labs for that, just because they have the most advanced the testing equipment in the state. We also did patient judges, and then we did connoisseur judges. And connoisseur judges were just anybody that works in the industry. The patient judges were put out, and they actually registered online to be a patient judge, whether it be indica, sativa, hybrid, concentrates, or edibles. And they had to go back and test this. And they tested this over about a 30-plus day period so that they weren't high 24/7, 7 days a week, or trying to test everything within a 7-day period.
I don't know anything about that. It took me like 7.5 days to finish my packet.
There you see, you were high for 7.5 days then. So we put this together, and then they voted online, and it was all done electronically. And all of this can be shown. So if anybody has any questions of who the winners are at the end of the day, I mean, we had absolutely no say in the way that any of the numbers were done. I mean, it's all scientific, all done online, and so I mean, we're very excited about this.
So the presidential candidates that were here yesterday could learn a thing or two about transparency, is what you're telling us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Romney and Obama, I think they may have been participants in the. They just didn't inhale.
Obama maybe, and I don't know. I missed this. I missed a lot of stuff because we didn't really do news. Romney, have you seen the video where the guy in the wheelchair who's dying of whatever the case may be, Romney ignores him when he asks him, So he did come out and says he opposes marijuana being. He was asked by the Denver Post, I guess, what his opinion was on the industry here, and he said he opposed marijuana being used for recreational purposes, and I believe the federal law should prohibit the recreational use of marijuana. And then later on that day, he came out with more, saying that he opposes legalizing drugs, including marijuana. Mm-hmm. So he got more specific.
Well, last night on the presidential debate, he came out and basically said that, and this was based on healthcare, but you can take it, you can generalize it to every part, where he wants states to go ahead and be able to regulate themselves, whether it be on health insurance or education or any of those sorts of things. Well, look. Medical marijuana in the state of Colorado is trying to self-regulate. The state is trying to regulate this thing, and all we keep doing is being attacked by the feds.
Well, and we are with letters. I think to a certain degree, our intertwinings with the state and the amendment have brought about a thin, mind you, layer of protection. Technically, I've been yelling this from the mountaintop forever. I wish an attorney would team up with me and we'd challenge it. I think every time anyone is tried by the federal government in the state of Colorado should also be a co-defendant in that case. Mm-hmm. And they should be prosecuted as well, because I have a license through the state of Colorado to be a patient. Any dispensary owner has multiple licenses through not only the state, but usually local and sometimes county government as well. Mm-hmm. The ties to the state in any other way, like if this were to a business, they would, that would be conspiracy or whatever the case is, to commit, however that's termed.
Well, and although maybe the federal government does more activity in states than others, and maybe down the line they'll say that, okay, we'll leave you alone. They'll just tax us to death. I mean, 30% right now on this. How can any business operate at 30%? There's no other industry out there that is being charged 30% on their profit or on their income. They have no deductions that they're allowed to take. I mean, this is just absolutely outrageous. I mean,
they are, as I say time and time again, scratching and clawing for anything at this point because they know they're losing. We've got 80% of the population of the country, mind you, that say that it's medicine, that think it should be legal for medicine. You've got at least another 50% at this point of the nation saying recreational is okay. The stereotypes and the BS that we were fed for decades is fading away, and we're becoming an informed populace. And with that, the government is scared. I mean, let's face it, cannabis is the cash cow of the DEA and the federal government, for that matter. There's even been ties to where the Fed or the government, different agencies, CIA, most recently the ATF with the Fast and the Furious, are tied directly into the drug trade, if not importing it, So
look, the federal government pays out a dollar for every plant that's cut down. So of course the DA is going to go out there and try to bust. I mean, you're cutting their lifeline right there, when it comes down to it. But just imagine, I mean, Obama and Romney, if you ever get your hands on this, imagine how many jobs can be created by letting American farmers grow hemp. It's great for the economy. It's great for the land. I mean, no more of the strip cropping or crop rotations every other year. You can now grow hemp on the ground on every other season. You're gonna go ahead and make the ground more fertile, which is gonna produce better crops the next year, and it's gonna keep progressing that way. On top of it, more than 100% of that plant can be utilized.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's really exciting. I think I know where you're at on 64, but one of the components that I like about Amendment 64 is the fact that they have, I'm going to say we, because I'm assuming that our council will be a part of the rulemaking committee that works with our leaders. We're going to have to address that and allow the growth of hemp in our state per the amendment. It requires us to do that. So that being said, I mean, right there, farmers have that opportunity.
Well, sure they do. However, the federal government's going to openly come out and say, "Hey, well, if you grow hemp on that, we're going to take that land." Come on.
That's I guess the point I got a little sidetracked on is, that's what they do is they see they're losing and they do things like send these letters. They work the gray area. They send the IRS in and say, well, okay, you can't deduct anything anymore. They send a letter to Harborside and say you're too big.
No, the state of Colorado needs to grow some balls and bring it back up to the Attorney General and say, look, enough is enough. If you do this, there's going to be a lawsuit. I mean, come on now.
Well, I think, and I mean, it's the battle cry, or that's really not the proper term, but the battle cry is getting louder and louder. I know locally down in El Paso County, Dan May's feeling the pressure from people standing out and educating and showing up at all these court cases. We've seen jury nullifications or acquittals.
Dan May's got a personal agenda. He just does not like it.
No, he doesn't. He's John Walsh in training.
Yep, that's exactly right.
El Paso County is not the friendliest place to be a patient and or business owner. But anyway, we get all sidetracked always here on Overgrow. David was the same way. We're going to, in a couple of minutes, we're going to take a break. But when we come back, we're going to kind of tell people what Nexus Meds is. Again, with Overgrow, I've probably said this to you before, but I try to approach it like I'm a layman. Like I live in Kansas or somewhere that's never heard of cannabis or MMJ. So, what you do for the industry is a vital lifeline between basically MIPS or dispensaries, that type of thing. I'm going to let you get into that and explain the process a little bit and tell us about your company.
Great.
So, Sam, I think we're going to cut away to commercial. Are you awake over there?
I am.
Is that energy drink treating you right?
Yeah, it tastes delicious.
It's pretty smooth, huh?
Keeps me up, absolutely.
We did a blind taste test with the bartenders over at Castleman's, and every single one of them chose the cannabis energy drink over Red Bull and Roaring Lion.
Yeah.
Nice.
To the
Well, while I'm
sources.
in here tomorrow editing shows, it'll be my pick-me-up in the afternoon.
Nice. There you go.
Sam was my tester tonight. So stick with us. We're going to come back for a little bit more ranting and love here on Overgrow The Radio. Peace.
Interested in the amazing benefits of CBD? Check out Dixie X Hemp CBD Wellness Products at www.dixiex.com. Dixie Elixirs and Edibles, the patient's choice for alternative medical marijuana treatment. Dixie Elixirs infused sparkling beverages, Dixie Edibles, Dewdrops, tonics, and Dixie Scripts extraordinarily concentrated cannabis extract capsules, along with Dixie Botanicals, all natural topical therapy. All of these medicinal remedies are available at your local medical marijuana center. Like us on Facebook, Dixie Elixirs, or join us at www.dixieelixirs.com. Dixie Elixirs and Edibles, the nation's premier infused product manufacturer, brings you the newest in hemp CBD wellness products, Dixie X. Derived from CBD from medicinal hemp, this non-psychoactive cannabinoid provides the medicinal effects of cannabis, but without the high. Join the Dixie X revolution today at www.dixiex.com or like us on Facebook, Dixie X or Dixie Elixirs. Interested in hemp CBD wellness products? Join the Dixie X revolution. Dixie X has created 3 new products using hemp-derived CBD. Dixie X Scripts capsules, Dixie X Dewdrops, and a 1-ounce 100 milligram formula and a 2-ounce 500 milligram formula, and Dixie X Botanicals Pain Relief Salve. If you're interested in these products, look for us on Facebook, Dixie X, or at www.dixiex.com.
Friday, October 26th from 5:30 to 10 p.m., Green Faith Ministries presents Cannabis Kills Cancer, a film exhibition that changes everything, with special guests Dr. Bob Melamede from Cannabis Science, Todd McCormick, cannabis activist and author, and Kyle Marsh, director of Vitamin Cannabis. Hosted by Marmalade at Smoke Brush, 219 West Colorado Avenue, Suite 210, Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Dixie Elixirs, the patient's choice for alternative medical marijuana treatment, brings you Dixie Botanicals all-natural topical therapy, including massage oil, pain relief salve, and our newest product, Dixie Botanicals Pain Relief Lotion. This all-natural lotion pairs beautifully with Dixie Botanicals bath salt for a deeply relaxing experience with no psychotropic effect. Like us on Facebook, Dixie Elixirs, or join us at www.dixieelixirs.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
2 of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our 2 locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
The law offices of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
It's time to make radio. We're all back, I believe. I was a little hazy there for a second, so I had to take a pause. So I was telling you during the break, man, I missed all my news tonight, but I think that, there was a debate up here. The Prez was in town. I was hoping he would stop by iCannabis Radio Studio and get on the air with me because, Gary Johnson's been on the air with me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's the difference? Why are these two guys on a pedestal? I don't understand it. And the one thing I want to mention
because
real quick,
because Gary Johnson respects the middle class a little bit more.
you know. So the other thing I wanted to mention really quick about the debate last night, and we've dwelled on this way too long, but is there was no mention of cannabis. Here you are, I'm throwing those statistics out about where we're at as a nation and a people, and it's very much a huge issue across our nation. But, you'll never hear that brought up in a presidential debate. We've got to get, I think, as an industry and activists to that point to where we force them to have to talk about it publicly on national TV with 40, 50, 60 million people watching.
Well, I mean, we'll definitely see what happens. Hopefully, it'll be brought up in the next two debates here. I mean, we only have 5 weeks till the election, so which is November 6th, I believe.
Well, fingers crossed, because if either way it goes, I mean, Obama 4 times as many raids as Bush at this point. Romney just hates cannabis, hates gays, hates women, you name it. Which we're going to get into in about 10 minutes here with my other half. She's much more educated on that. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely made some crazy comments that scare me. I mean, they're both politicians. But anyway, back to the basics and back to what's real.
Sure.
Hemp. Speaking of hemp, I met you guys. We actually shared a building for a while when I started making this lovely commute every week. And, I miss that because we had, and you guys still have, sort of a big family there, minus all the telemarketers running around.
There's definitely some telemarketers there.
The Hemp Connoisseur was really, started doing stuff with iCannabis Radio, and you guys quickly became friends and family members of the studio, and myself as well. And, you're all under this umbrella that is Soup Media, and you're all great people. And I'm going to let you kind of jump in and just tell us what you do.
Sure. Well, Soup Media Group actually was formed a couple years ago, and inside Soup Media Group are 2 companies. One is Nexus Meds. The other one is the Hemp Connoisseur magazine, which you can pick up at any of your local 7-Elevens along the Front Range, doctors' offices, medical marijuana centers. And we will have another issue coming out mid-part of October. We are just waiting to get pictures from the Cirque de Cannabis event, which is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. That's one division. The other division is Nexus Meds. Nexus Meds was formed because we were approached by a number of MIPs that spent too much time manufacturing their product and not enough time marketing their product. So we went ahead and developed a plan and a website, which is an online order management system where medical marijuana centers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week can go ahead and get on, learn about products, and if they're interested in those products, go ahead and place the orders. Well, those orders go directly to the manufacturer at that point. The manufacturer then delivers those products out. We don't touch those products, okay? But with that, go ahead.
Well, and that's, that's something I admire is the ingenuity, because with our industry being brand new, with any industry, you have to have that infrastructure. It's not time efficient a lot of times for, there's got to be the middleman with anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't like to use the phrase middleman, because if they call into the manufacturer and want to purchase a product directly, and let's just say it's $6. Well, that product on our website is also $6. Right. I mean, it's exactly the same. However, with the system, knowing that companies really at the very beginning were having a hard time staying in compliance because nobody really knew what compliance was, we provided all of the...
We do now?
Yeah. Every day it's something new with compliance. So we have a center that, let's just say they lost all their records or something like that, or somebody broke in or whatever. Well, the orders that are placed through our system, they can go. Those records are saved on a secured location and in the cloud, so they can go ahead and download those documents again, print them out, and get back into compliance if in the event something did happen with it. And this is a service that we charge. It's free to all the medical marijuana centers that want to go ahead and utilize it. Now, not all the MIPS out there want to utilize it, which is fine. I mean, we have no qualms with that. We would like every manufacturer out there to use it because it is truly a fantastic service. And as a business owner, imagine how many hours it's saving when you don't have to call up every single manufacturer or if there's an issue with a product being lost or not being delivered, you trying to locate that product. Well, we provide customer service and customer support for these manufacturers. So we provide the system, customer support, and marketing for these companies.
And absolutely, middleman sounds very shady and trunk dealing, but
yeah, we don't purchase product and then resell it, which there are companies out there that do that. But
support system is where I was going with that, and a lot of these companies and dispensaries and MIPS both need these support systems to function.
Yep.
They're growing faster than they know what to do with. They don't have the employees to do these kind of things, so that's vital.
Well, the overhead that these manufacturers have and the margins that they have in there is just not enough to be able to have. Some of these people have direct sales forces out there, but some people don't have sales forces, and we're not we don't call ourselves a sales force. We're not selling. We're educating people on these products.
Advisory board.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But not only do we educate the medical marijuana centers out there, we developed a product location system where the patients can get on there and say they have a favorite wax. Well, they can find all the centers in the state that carry this wax. That way, we definitely recommend calling ahead of time because, waxes or edibles sell out pretty quickly. But, we provide all the information on there where the patients can go ahead and utilize this system. And it is free of charge for them to use also.
Well, and again, you guys, as a conglomerate, if you will, I love you all. You all serve a vital function. We've had you and David on and went into the Hemp Connoisseur magazine, and my opinion on that. Contrary to sometimes how I act, I try to be professional and present everything I do and work with professional folks.
That's not true.
I turned away so you could get that whisper in. Did you like that? It's absolutely not true. I cut loose and party and be a fool every once in a while, just like the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
We're about to do that tomorrow night. Something we didn't talk about tomorrow. You guys have live music. We should probably give those guys a plug because, you guys have had them on your show each week, I think. Band each week?
Yeah, we have. So this afternoon we had Cobra Conda in here, and they're kind of a rap band. Really, really cool. I don't know if we have any of their music that we can play now, but
not queued up.
Not queued up. But we also have Varlet, which is another band that we have in there. Demon Funkies, which is going to be out there playing. And then there's a fourth one, but holy crap, I can't remember it right now.
I believe we've got...
Dragon Deer is the fourth one right there. So
yeah, man, I think we've got... It was actually, I was going to give you some crap because it was your job to get their CD, the guys today.
Yeah, they didn't have it. We asked, we requested it. Yeah. But definitely you can get onto Cobra Conda's website and read it. You'll crack your butt off of how they describe themselves. And I think Stickman actually is getting onto Cobra Conda's Facebook page right now to read their profile on air. One moment, and you're gonna have a good time with this.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to spell that, so that's all you. But I'll ask you while we're doing that, as I ask all my guests from now until the first week of November. Do you guys, as a company, have an official stance on our Amendment 64?
There is,
or is it individual?
Everybody has a little bit. Everybody has a little bit different feel on it. We talk to a lot of centers, and we ask them. What's your take on it? And we're finding actually more and more people are kind of split on it. The biggest argument that a lot of people have is why wake a sleeping giant, which is the federal government. For the most part, with as much as they've done already, they kind of left us alone. When you're comparing us to, let's say, California, right? Or the structure that they have in Arizona. And so that's really what a lot of people are stuck up on, is that let's keep it medical. We're being left alone for the most part, and let's just continue with this thing. People think that it's too early. The other side of it is it's a lot. This is not a medical marijuana issue. This is a civil rights issue. This is listen to the people of the state of Colorado. This is what we want, and how dare you try to come in and tell us no, or you think that you know what's better for us. So it's a lot bigger. Yes, it just so happens to be happening in the marijuana industry, but it's bigger.
Well, and I really wish, as you know, as we've talked off the air and I've preached about for weeks now, this infighting that I've gotten drug into. I'd like to sit down and have discussions, because what I'd like to say to those people really is, it's up to us at this time in history to take this stand. Legalization is coming in one form or another. The statistics that I quoted earlier, they show the push is there. People know this is a harmless plant. Housewives in Nebraska know this now. It's not like it was 20 years ago. This law, by no means, this amendment I will never claim it's perfect. I've been a critic of it all along and a proponent at the same time. In our legislative system, nothing, and we talked about this in the last segment with these guys, I think we're all there. Like we're for it, but we're against it. I mean, it does not address enough. It's very vague. But in our legislator, anything that ever gets through is a baby step. And it's never perfect. And the things that I keep hearing, well, let's address the dispensary side real quick. We've got some time to kill.
Sure.
We might as well rant. The thing with that is what I'm hearing anyway from business owners, and in underlying tones even at times, is I'm going to lose money. I'm going to lose patients. Okay, well, my first point there is you got into an industry that is brand new and ever-changing, knowing that the federal government at any time can walk through your door, take everything you own, put you in prison, period. It's also, as I said, ever-changing. When you get into any industry, you can never depend, Business 101, you can never depend on that industry not changing, staying the same. There are some industries, the automotive industry, things of that nature, where you can almost depend on it until the bottom falls out.
Sure.
So, that's basic. And then with this law changing, with it obviously coming, you've got to look at the benefits, and they're very prominent. I mean, as a patient, you save hundreds of dollars a year. If you're a responsible doctor or a responsible dispensary owner who wants to care about that bottom line and is worried about this, if you're not telling every patient who walks through your doorway that they can save this money every year by staying a patient, you're failing as a business owner and a business person. And I'm harsh on people. It's kind of what I do. There is a flip side to that. I agree. There probably will be people who say, well, I can just get it recreationally now, so why do this? And sure, but that's where, again, it's changing, and you have to be ahead of that curve.
Well, I mean, even to take it another step further, look, if this thing, if and when, which the polls are leaning towards yes it passing, in November, I mean, we're still looking at months and months before before the legislation can be written and things like that. Although some things are going to be enacted right away because they're in our current legislation and the current rules right now. So, but the biggest thing is that in the industry we're in, we get calls every single day from people that are looking for product to put on their shelves. There's just not enough product out there. And yeah, some of it has to do with the seasons and the heat, and some of these buildings not having the right air conditioning to keep the product at the temperature that it needs to grow for optimal conditions. But there's just not enough product out there. I mean, you hear about these, even with the amount of product that that the MMED has to burn because it's been seized and those sorts of things. There's no rules or legislation put into place to have any of this stuff auctioned off to be put back into the market or anything like that, which is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I understand why they did it and didn't do it, but still, at the end of the day, the market's dry. That's with 97,000 patients. When it legalizes, you're going to, you're talking about 1 million people now that can get out there that are going to come out of the woodworks, go and purchase it, legally, because it's cheaper to purchase it legally than it is on the black market. And what's going to happen at that point?
We're going to see. I mean, we're going to continue this debate next month. You need to jot this note down after. We'll see if it passes, because this is a question that we can continue on with. I have a flip side to that, and I'll throw my answer out, and then we can continue it.
Sure.
That there's a lot of black market growers out there that will be quick to pop out of the woodwork to fill that gap. There's going to be a lot of people that might be over their count that that will seep into the system. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's be honest, let's be factual. It will need to seep into the system. I mean, we've got call me a conspiracy guy, but when you've got like tobacco companies buying up land in the Emerald Triangle, you'd be a fool to think that they're not already growing and testing strains and things of that nature. There's always the guerrilla industry with any industry that's a valued commodity.
But the question you got to ask is that how are they going to take that product to market? And right now, like with the liquor industry, it's a 3-tiered system. You have your manufacturers, your wholesalers, and your retailers. Right now, these centers are working in a vertical. Through vertical integration. Well, there is a place where, yes, if you decide to stay medical or whatever, grow your product. But if you don't, first of all, there's not going to be enough product out there. So how do you fill that demand? The only way to fill it is to get these big warehouses and grow and be specialized at growing. It's going to be easier to go ahead and make sure that the product coming out of those facilities is healthy for you. Right now, you got 500 or 600 different people growing out there. So that's one of the issues, and I believe that there's definitely enough market for both out there. We just have to get some of these lobbying groups on board and let them know. Now, the other side of it too, which I know one of the big reasons that these lobbying groups don't go along with a 3-tiered system is because they have customers, they have clients, MMCs that have put $500,000 into these grows. And those are life savings for these people. Why would you then change the system automatically and be out that money? Which is definitely gonna definitely warrant some debate on it. But with what we're experiencing is that there's a lot of room for a 3-tiered and a vertical integrated market.
Yeah, we'll continue this next month. You and I are going to have some conversations. I can feel it.
That's going to be fantastic.
I love it, dude. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
All right. So give us your website, man. We're going to come party with you tomorrow night. As I plugged in the beginning, we're going to be doing a live broadcast out there at Castleman's from like 7 till whenever I get too drunk to talk.
Yeah. Well, through the hemp energy drinks and the Purgatory, which is a hemp vodka that we have that was brought into from Alaska for us. But the Nexus Meds website is www.nexusmeds.com. If you're an MMC out there listening to this, that's how you would actually access the secured site, is through the same website. Just go under MMC login. The other website is thcmag.com, and on there you can get all the details around the competition tomorrow night. If you are looking to purchase tickets online, they're $10. You get them through Castleman's website. Just Google search Castleman's, or they're $15 at the door.
Very good, sir. Well, we'll be back with you again next month, and tomorrow night, we'll see. Maybe I'll have some liquor. We're going to take a really quick break and come back with my lovely other half and Miss Christy Wheeler from We Are Women Colorado. I didn't even say your name. You like that? So stick with us here on Overgrow The Radio.
Peace.
Friday, October 26th from 5:30 to 10 p.m., Green Faith Ministries presents Cannabis Kills Cancer, a film exhibition that changes everything, with special guests Dr. Bob Melamede from Cannabis Science, Todd McCormick, cannabis activist and author, and Kyle Marsh, director of Vitamin Cannabis. Hosted by Marmalade at Smoke Brush, 219 West Colorado Avenue, Suite 210, Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Interested in the amazing benefits of CBD? Check out Dixie X Hemp CBD Wellness Products at www.dixiex.com.
The Hemp Connoisseur is Colorado's premier guide to hemp culture. Our mission is to elevate the image of the medical cannabis and hemp industries to create widespread acceptance of the cannabis sativa plant. You can find the latest issue of the Hemp Connoisseur at more than 200 7-Elevens, your favorite dispensary, MMJ doctor offices, and tattered covered bookstores. Do you consider yourself a cannabis connoisseur? Then come be a part of the Hemp Connoisseur's first cannabis championship. Visit us at thcmad.com for info on how to sample the best medicine Colorado has to offer.
The law offices of Vets and Maiden and Mats provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Dixie Elixirs, the patient's choice for alternative medical marijuana treatment brings you Dixie Botanicals all-natural topical therapy, including massage oil, pain relief salve, and our newest product, Dixie Botanicals Pain Relief Lotion. This all-natural lotion pairs beautifully with Dixie Botanicals bath salt for a deeply relaxing experience with no psychotropic effect. Like us on Facebook, Dixie Elixirs, or join us at www.dixieelixirs.com.
The Hemp Connoisseur is Colorado's premier guide to hemp culture. Our mission is to elevate the image of the medical cannabis and hemp industries to create widespread acceptance of the cannabis sativa plant. You can find the latest issue of the Hemp Connoisseur at more than 200 7-Elevens, your favorite dispensary, MMJ doctor offices, and tattered covered bookstores. Do you consider yourself a cannabis connoisseur? Then come be a part of the Hemp Connoisseur's first cannabis championship. Visit us at thcmag.com for info on how to sample the best medicine Colorado has to offer.
Dixie Elixirs and Edibles, the patient's choice for alternative medical marijuana treatment. Dixie Elixirs infused sparkling beverages, Dixie Edibles, dewdrops, tonics, and Dixie Scripts extraordinarily concentrated cannabis extract capsules, along with Dixie Botanicals, all-natural topical therapy. All of these medicinal remedies are available at your local medical marijuana center. Like us on Facebook, Dixie Elixirs, or join us at www.dixieelixirs.com. Dixie Elixirs and Edibles, the nation's premier infused product manufacturers, brings you the newest in hemp CBD wellness products, Dixie X. Derived from CBD for medicinal hemp, this non-psychoactive cannabinoid provides the medicinal effects of cannabis, but without the high. Join the Dixie X revolution today at www.dixiex.com or like us on Facebook, Dixie X or Dixie Elixirs.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
One more segment here for Overgrow The Radio on this beautiful cold October evening. Speaking of cold, sometimes she loves me, sometimes she doesn't, and sometimes our household can get a little chilly. I'm totally kidding, baby.
Probably when you're sleeping on the couch.
I'm prepping her because I'm going to bring her in real quickly as the representative here this evening for We Are Women. And as she prepped me during the break, there was a big issue not addressed in the presidential debate last night as well, and that would be
women's issues. Neither of them mentioned the word woman once. They had plenty of opportunity to. Obviously, women make up approximately half of the country's population. And when you're talking about the healthcare and when you're talking about the economy, it's really important that you also address women's issues.
Why is that? You guys bring us into this world. I mean, why would we want to be equal?
Oh, sweetie, we can take you out just as quick.
That's why I love her.
To my knowledge, it does take a guy and a girl.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. But until I can carry a baby, I got you.
Dude, you'd make millions on Oprah.
So, I mean, let's talk about, I mean, you guys have a protest this weekend, which, we don't have a ton of time, but we're going to address that before we get out. But real quick, let's talk about both of the candidates, their views on women's rights. And I actually have the overview here, but I'm going to get your opinion first.
Awesome. Curious what overview you have. They actually
we can start with that if you want. Maybe. No, we don't. It's not mentioned in the overview. Isn't that funny?
Of course it's not.
Didn't that play right into your segment for you?
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the biggest problems right now is that this election really can be boiled down to a matter of civil rights, as you mentioned earlier. And the differences are huge, especially when it comes to women's issues. Paul Ryan actually sponsored legislation that was nicknamed "Let the Woman Die on the Hospital Floor" legislation. Because it truly believes that in absolutely no case, including if the woman's life is in danger, that abortion should be allowed.
Let me just real quick, I'm sorry. I have to correct myself that abortion and birth control are addressed. It's the very first one, that's why I missed it, which aren't by any stretch of the means the realm of what's going on right now with women's rights and civil rights in general. The stance from Obama, of course, he supports it. The stance from Romney, no abortions, don't care if you get raped. Sorry. Your body should have magically disposed of that sperm because...
It will naturally, remember?
Yes, it does. It's a vessel of God, and if God doesn't want that rape sperm in you, he will get rid of it.
How about incest?
Yes, that too. But he also wants to end Planned Parenthood. And as a male, I have a problem with this because... what that tells me is him and his frat buddy boys can go out and drink beer and sleep with a bunch of women and get condoms so they don't get diseases or have little babies running around. But if a lady wants to go in and have an IUD put in, or did I say that correctly? Mm-hmm. Okay, I got to look. I'll just make sure. Not a look, but, a glance. I didn't know. Anyway, if a lady wants to go in and get contraception or help with procedures or anything along those lines, somehow that's evil. Let's look at people as humans. That's my whole point. Is there in my eyes, why is it women? Why is it men? Why can't we all just be humans?
You're absolutely right. And you brought up a great point with Planned Parenthood and actually touched on one of the biggest myths around Planned Parenthood, and that's that only women looking for birth control or abortions utilize their services. Planned Parenthood does tons and tons and tons of things. Just last year, there was a big uproar because the Susan G. Komen Foundation decided that they were not going to give grants to Planned Parenthood any longer. Those grants that Susan G. Komen was providing to them was for breast cancer, and it was for the screenings that they do, the mammograms they do. Additionally, they also test for STDs. They also help with family planning. And so that's where the economics policy comes in. Anytime you take away a woman's right to choose whether or not she's going to become pregnant, you are interfering with her ability to make a living. I truly can't imagine a world in which the male is able to determine when and if he wants to have sex, and the woman isn't able to say, oh, I really don't want to be pregnant right now, and to be able to make that choice for herself. And so when you look at, there's so much to this picture, and I know that we're on a short amount of time, but last year, 2011 alone, there were over 1,000 bills that were introduced in this country specifically regarding a woman's access to abortion. And so you have to really evaluate that number. Look at the Veterans Jobs Bill. That didn't go through. That was filibustered by our lovely Republicans in the House. Countless jobs bills were filibustered. They were not allowed to pass. The Farm Bill still has not gone through. And yet over 1,000 bills were presented last year regarding women's right to choose.
Well, because attacking your rights and cannabis users' rights and, gays, that's a much more valuable use of a lawmaker's time, They've got to utilize their time properly so there's enough time for them to get out and golf with the Democrats. Because we all know Republicrats are really just one big happy family. So, speaking of which, Planned Parenthood kicked ass last time at your guys' protest. They helped Haas and I keep the crowd in line. Mm-hmm. Of course, it was Haas and I who jumped in and made the wall went crazy, but we won't get into that. But anyway, you guys, Saturday, as I've been talking about, we're going to be broadcasting late Friday night, and then I'm jumping up early Saturday morning and putting my vest on and being your security for the day. And we're going to be at Civic Center Park. I'm going to let you tell us where, and a website, please, ma'am.
Absolutely. The website's wearewomenco.org. You can also find us on Facebook, We Are Women Colorado. And like Jason said, Stickman said, Saturday, October the 6th, from 1 to 3, we'll be having a rally. We have some amazing speakers, everything from some legislators here that support women's rights to some awesome poets and some representatives really on women's issues. We have some speakers from 9 to 5 and a speaker from NARAL. And so we're really going to get a good understanding of what challenges we're facing right now. And that will, we hope to educate, we hope to empower people, and our primary focus is get out the vote. And so whether you make it to our rally this Saturday or not, please, please, please check your voter registration. Go to the Secretary of State site. Make sure that you are registered. Monday, I know, is the deadline here in Colorado. And people are literally disappearing off the voter rolls. And so it's not just a matter of, oh, well, I was registered last time. It truly is a matter of the Secretary of State is having issues and people are really disappearing off the rolls. So just go check your registration, make sure you're active and good to go.
Absolutely. So, yeah, if you're able to get out there, again, my mom brought me into this world, and I was taught from that age to support my mother and my sisters and every lady in my life. Guys, too. My brother's all right sometimes. So we'll be out there Saturday. Make sure to join us. I think we're going to, speaking of getting out, we're going to get out of here for tonight anyway. We'll be back live tomorrow, of course, having a good time with this gentleman right beside me. That sounded really bad, by the way.
I'm definitely not having a good time with Stickman.
It's a good thing we both have ladies, so it's okay to, yeah.
Well, I don't.
Anyway, to move on.
I don't have a lady.
Speaking of sponsors, I've got to talk about sponsors. Well, that's
my issue.
We'll talk about that off the air.
Yeah.
I'm going to plead the fifth right now for an obvious reason across from me right there. Dixie Elixirs. Dixie's hanging behind Meg right now. I forgot to mention during the show, we borrowed their banner to kind of show what we're going to do as a station. If you're a company, industry, or out of industry and you want to do a station ad, get at me online. Email stickman200210@gmail.com. We'll chat about prices and all that fun stuff, but we do have station ads that run throughout every show. So that's what that is. Thank you to Dixie for not only sponsoring Overgrow, but for providing that beautiful banner for us to use as a prop. This guy right here, Nexus Meds, and we'll just lump him in with the Hemp Connoisseur. They've been supporting Overgrow for a while. As he said, you can go to 7-Elevens here in Colorado and pick one up. They were so popular, they just actually upped their distribution, wrong word.
Yep.
You guys are not, often now?
We work quarterly. We're going to bi-monthly now.
Very good. So make sure you check out the latest issue. There's always great new stuff in there. I don't think I saw the last issue. I apologize.
It's because it's going to print after October. Well, I actually have a copy in the car, but we have our next issue coming out mid-part of October. We're just waiting on photos that are going to be taken at the party to put in there. So definitely dress fun.
Oh, yeah. I've got a plan. I've got a shirt
That's a plan from the Stick Man.
I'm a spoiler alert. I got a shirt that she doesn't like. Told me I look like a candy striper. So, it's nice. I think I got it at one of the cheesy-ass small stores.
It's not like my hemp shirt that I'm wearing right now for the Hemp Connoisseur Radio.
No, but show. I thought, it's a circus theme. What better than she thought that's what it looked like. So we'll see. I might go with that. I might not.
Those of you that are scared of clowns, there aren't going to be any. So
except for me. And I'll be behind the mic, and I'm harmless. So, Independent Records, it's down in the Springs. They're on Colorado and Platte Avenue. Judy and the gang there are amazing people. She's one of the most inspiring little 5-foot-something ladies I've ever met in my life, speaking of powerful women. And they're also part of Indispensary, which is one of the few dispensaries I go to anymore. And they're also on Platte and out on Colorado as well. Green Monster Glass. We finally got a commercial played tonight for these guys. I think it was played. I hope so. I took some breaks during the breaks. So anyway, if you need to stock your dispensary, stay tuned to our show, and it will teach you how through their commercials. Give you a direct number to Daryl. He's a great guy. It's reasonable glass and fills my closet. Gives me a good selection. The Realm of Caring. The Realm of Caring is absolutely helping patients, as many as they can take on. If you're a dispensary or a MIPS and you're able to help or patient in any way, please visit their website and give them a hand at realmofcaring.com. And, oh God, I'm missing someone. I hate that. I think that's it, guys. I think we get to go. There's no more sponsors for the night. So thank you guys. Meg, thank you for being on. I didn't use your full name, so I don't get in trouble. And we'll be out there Saturday. If you care about human rights, civil rights, and especially women's rights, join us. Again, at what time?
o'clock.
1 o'clock. We'll see you at 1 o'clock at Civic Center Park. Until next time, again, guys, we're all humans. Let's treat each other as humans. Let's move forward. Baby steps. Let's move forward together. Let's unite. We love you. Stick with us. Not stick with us, but tune in next time to Overgrow the Radio. Peace.
Peace, love, and happiness.
Interested in the amazing benefits of CBD? Check out Dixie X Hemp CBD Wellness Products at www.dixiex.com.
Green Monster Glass, a full selection of glass and glass accessories, as well as all of your smoking needs. Stock your dispensary or smoke shop with reasonably priced glass from Green Monster Glass. Green Monster Glass is locally owned and operated. Find us on Facebook or call Daryl at 719-217-5380. That's 719-217-5380.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Dixie Elixirs, the patient's choice for alternative medical marijuana treatment, brings you Dixie Botanicals all-natural topical therapy, including massage oil, pain relief salve, and our newest product, Dixie Botanicals Pain Relief Lotion. This all-natural lotion pairs beautifully with Dixie Botanicals bath salt for a deeply relaxing experience with no psychotropic effect. Like us on Facebook, Dixie Elixirs, or join us at www.dixieelixirs.com.
The Hemp Connoisseur is Colorado's premier guide to hemp culture. Our mission is to elevate the image of the medical cannabis and hemp industries to create widespread acceptance of the cannabis sativa plant. You can find the latest issue of the Hemp Connoisseur at more than 200 7-Elevens, your favorite dispensary, MMJ doctor offices, and tattered covered bookstores. Do you consider yourself a cannabis connoisseur? Then come be a part of the Hemp Connoisseur's first cannabis championship. Visit us at thcmag.com for info on how to sample the best medicine Colorado has to offer.
Dixie Elixirs and Edibles, the patient's choice for alternative medical marijuana treatment. Dixie Elixirs infused sparkling beverages, Dixie Edibles, dewdrops, tonics, and Dixie Scripts extraordinarily concentrated cannabis extract capsules, along with Dixie Botanicals, all-natural topical therapy. All of these medicinal remedies are available at your local medical marijuana center. Like us on Facebook, Dixie Elixirs, or join us at www.dixieelixirs.com. Dixie Elixirs and Edibles, the nation's premier infused product manufacturers, brings you the newest in hemp CBD wellness products, Dixie X. Derived from CBD for medicinal hemp, this non-psychoactive cannabinoid provides the medicinal effects of cannabis, but without the high. Join the Dixie X revolution today at www.dixiex.com, or like us on Facebook, Dixie X or Dixie Elixirs.
Hi, John.